Hey everyone, it's Jeff Young, kinesiologist. This video is on the 6 components of a healthy musculoskeletal system, which means it's a must watch for anyone who either suffers from joint pain or who wants to prevent it, and also for trainers and coaches who have clients or athletes who are either coming off of a recent injury or who suffer from joint pain as well. The concepts and guidelines that I'll go over are a culmination of 15 years of working in high level sports medicine settings, training clients across a spectrum of musculoskeletal or orthopedic issues, along with scores of staff development meetings and countless conversations with sports medicine practitioners. So I'll take all that information and sum it up in a way that's ridiculously easy to understand. So, with that said, let's go ahead and get started. There are 6 primary components of a healthy musculoskeletal system. First, I'll list each component and give them clarity, and then I'll sum everything up with a mantra that should really dictate resistance training program designed for everyone. As I go through these, you'll be able to see that while on the surface it may seem complex, it's actually really simple to include these components within overall program design because they are a natural product of a properly designed, periodized, total body progressive program. Before I start, let me add that I've had countless fitness trainers tell me that one of the things they get confused on the most is how to correct dysfunctions and imbalances. This video will explain how simple the overall concept is. In fact, no matter what the musculoskeletal issue or condition, for prehab, rehabilitation, post rehab, and general fitness, they should all be seen through the eyes of these 6 components, and more specifically, the mantra at the end of this video that sums these components up. So, with that said, let me get started. The first component of a healthy musculoskeletal system is neuromuscular control, also known as motor control. While there are several complex definitions, very simply defined, all it means is that in any movement, no matter what the movement is, or resistance of movement, like when you're performing a plank, the right muscles are producing the right force at the right time. We can break this down further and say that the prime movers are doing the primary work, the assisters are assisting, and the stabilizers are stabilizing. But neuromuscular control always manifests itself in the form of proper form, because when you have proper form, by definition, the right muscles are producing the right force at the right time. Neuromuscular control and proper form are synonyms, they mean the same thing. Since there is a force component to neuromuscular control, and the stronger you are, the more force your muscles are able to produce, strength is an important subcomponent of neuromuscular control. To use an example, if someone is demonstrating a lack of neuromuscular control or improper form, or in neuromuscular rehab, a primary way to improve neuromuscular control is to show the individual proper form and use verbal, visual, and tactile cues to help correct anything they're doing wrong. Have them practice the proper movement pattern over and over to create new neural signaling pathways and ingrain the correct movement and strengthen the individual in the movement. So strength is a significant part of motor control. The next component of a healthy musculoskeletal system is strength. Weakness increases the risk of injury and joint pain. Obviously, strengthening is how to increase strength, so strength is a major component of strength. The third component of a healthy musculoskeletal system is strength endurance, which is also known as local muscle endurance. Being deconditioned also increases the risk of injury and joint pain. On the other side of the coin, having good stamina, conditioning, and local muscle endurance decreases the risk of injury and joint pain. A primary way to improve strength endurance is to train in the 12 to 25 repetition range with loads that take the lifter to at or near muscle failure and include relatively short rest periods between sets to keep the heart rate up. Point is that strength is a major part of strength endurance. The fourth component of a healthy musculoskeletal system is joint stability. Lack of joint stability increases the risk of injury and joint pain. While stability can be improved in many cases just by practicing proper form to improve motor control, joint stability is optimized by increasing strength, and more specifically, balancing strength around joints and making sure that the strength training program includes isometric contractions when applicable and emphasis on lowering or the eccentric part of the movement. On a related note, Improving joint stability includes much more than just performing balancing exercises or low intensity rehab type exercises for smaller intrinsic muscle groups. Large muscle groups like the glutes, hamstrings, quads, lats, and pecs act as stabilizers as well. So, for someone with a low or beginner level of strength, which is most people, a progressive total body strengthening program will improve joint stability. The next component of a healthy musculoskeletal system is posture or alignment. Joint malalignment increases the risk of injury and joint pain. In many cases, strengthening is a major component of improving posture or alignment, especially if the issue is forward head posture or rounded shoulders, where it's beneficial to strengthen the posterior chain or back of the body and improve flexibility in the anterior chain or front of the body. Another common example would be dynamic valgus, which is caving in of the knees. Strengthening the gluteus medius, the outside of the butt, can help correct this over time. And while the main issue with faulty posture usually has more to do with extended periods of time in positions of bad posture, the point is that strengthening is also an important component of improving posture and alignment. So before we even get to the last component of a healthy musculoskeletal system, a quick review of the first 5 show that strength is a critical part of each. More specifically, we want to balance strength around each major joint, ensure that it's being done with proper form, and train across a spectrum of repetition ranges. The higher repetition ranges with lighter loads to improve strength endurance, and the middle and lower repetition ranges to balance and improve overall strength. And then the 6th and last component of a healthy musculoskeletal system is mobility. Lack of mobility increases the risk of injury and joint pain. Most soft tissue injuries occur when the tissue is on stretch or overstretched and under a load, and many times under conditions of fatigue, all of which underscore the need to improve mobility, strength endurance, and overall conditioning. There are 3 subcomponents of mobility: flexibility, or the available range of motion around joints; myofascial mobility, which relates to roller massage and trigger point release; and then joint capsules can also be tight, normal, or hypermobile, such as the ankle capsule, hip capsule, and shoulder capsule. The body seeks balance or homeostasis. This applies physiologically, such as with body temperature and blood pressure, and it's no different with the musculoskeletal system. The body seeks strength balance and mobility or flexibility balance. Strength and flexibility balance are the corrective for pretty much any imbalance and dysfunction, as well as for joint pain, and to reduce the risk of injury and joint pain, such as with prehab programs. To sum it up, I've learned over the course of 15 years working in sports medicine settings and receiving patient referrals with orthopedic issues across the spectrum of conditions that no matter what the orthopedic issue is and no matter where it is, whether tight, get them mobile, because this is how you balance flexibility and mobility, whether weak or hypermobile, get them strong, because this is how you balance strength, ensure proper form with every exercise to instill or improve motor control. And since most people fall in a beginner range of strength, place the person on a total body progressive strengthening program across a spectrum of repetition ranges to try to get them out of a beginner range of strength. This is the mantra that should dictate program design, and any injury or joint pain that a person suffers from should be seen through the eyes of each of these components and this overall mantra. This means that if someone is suffering from joint pain, you have to make sure that every exercise is being performed with proper form, that the person is improving both strength and strength endurance and their overall conditioning, which should be guided primarily by ACSM and NSCA guidelines, since these are the 2 governing bodies in exercise science, and that they're on a proper flexibility training program to reduce or negate any movement restrictions or areas of tightness, and balance flexibility around each major joint. By default, you'll also improve joint stability and either self-correct postural issues or at least move them in the right direction. These are basic sports medicine concepts and principles that everyone should know and include in their program. If everyone did, injuries and joint pain would be significantly reduced and it would change the scope of musculoskeletal rehabilitation because rehab programs would evolve naturally into total body progressive strength and conditioning programs, which is really the way it should be. So hopefully all that was self-explanatory. If not, let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video.